for your normal waste. Then we have a blue one for recycling, and no, sorry, cardboard. And then we have a brown one for like tins and bottles. But if you can imagine, they collect them every 2 weeks. So everybody's looking out the window on a Sunday night going, "Ooh, what day is it? Let's see who puts the bins out first." So, but they're blowing up and down the street. And I keep laughing because out my window, you can't see, but that way, I keep seeing this guy across the road. He's been out about 7 times, picked his bins up. Why he doesn't just put them where they were before and they wouldn't be blowing around? I don't know.
All right, now I see you being over on that side of the pond. I have to fuss at you today.
Uh-oh.
Because there's a damn story that's been out this week that just, I'm thinking, what in the world are these people thinking?
About what?
The story came out of Rotterdam. Now, I know you're in Manchester and you're not in Rotterdam.
Rotterdam's not even in his country.
Not that far away.
It's a different country.
It's an hour away. An hour and a half.
Okay, it's still on the other side of the pond.
It's our side, John. Let him carry on.
So now this Jeff Bezos guy, Amazon. He's having a yacht built in Rotterdam.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a big expensive yacht, $80 bazillion or some damn amount. And they've about got this thing finished. Okay. It won't fit under the bridge.
Nope.
So they're asking Rotterdam to dismantle this bridge, let the yacht out, and then put the bridge back together. I mean, like, this is a 15-minute project. That's going to take these people 3 years to get this yacht out.
Do you know what, though? I'll let you into a little secret. When they do things like that, it doesn't. I did the sail backwards on Celebrity Eclipse, I want to say, and they took bridges down as we were sailing along, and then half an hour later, 45 minutes later, it was back together again. They just lifted it off, put it to one side, and then put it back again. It was surreal, amazing to see. But isn't he the guy that owns Amazon or set up Amazon?
Yeah, he owns Amazon, and he wants to have an Amazon Prime to send it to his house in Utah or wherever the hell he is.
I wonder if it's going to have the Amazon logo on it.
My question is for you European folk like you, Martin.
I'm British, but we'll let you say European.
Don't you suppose somebody should have thought about this before they built a boat?
I give up. They probably just did. It's probably not on the agenda on the radar, is it? It's like, let's build this huge boat, and then
they're not worried about getting the hell out of
here. Out there. Yeah,
that makes sense.
Well, it's mad. I mean, talking to things like that, we many years ago when they used to build the ships in Meyer-Werft in Germany, or they still do at the moment, they built one of the ships, and they didn't realize how big it was. And it took out one of the pylons for the electricity and knocked out probably half of Europe's electricity. That was a mistake with Royal Caribbean, but hey ho. But can you imagine?
Of course, the other big news story this week was 2 of the Crystal Cruises boats finally got arrested, so now they're under arrest.
Oh.
I'm not sure what the bail is to get them out, but they are in custody. Boy, what a mess that whole scene has been. Good heavens.
By the way, that's the bridge.
That's the bridge. That's the bridge that can't get the boat on.
Yeah, so if you look at it, it sounds like a big job, doesn't it? But if you look at the top of the bridge, they've only got to take that off. That's all they've got to do to get it through. It's not a hard job. It's if you nuts and bolts, pick it up and then put it back on again.
It's like an erector set.
Do you have any idea how much that thing got to weigh? Holy cow. These nuts and bolts, these aren't, little things like this. Where's the camera? Little things like this. I mean, they're,
Oh, gee, it's madness, isn't it? But I want to know, and I don't know if you heard me saying before, I wonder if he's going to have the big Amazon smile down the sides of the ship like he has on all his fans.
Probably so. I wouldn't be surprised.
Jeez. But anyway, arrested ships. Well, you remember when I got arrested, don't you? When I was on the ship.
Yep. That's becoming a popular thing now.
But
Wow.
I mean, I want to know, right? When these ships get arrested, right? What would they do to stop the ship moving?
Yeah.
It's not like they can grab hold of it. Go, no, you're not going. You're not going. You're
They
arrested.
take the keys away.
I don't think they do. Well, no, I don't think they do. I don't think we've got your keys. You can't go anywhere.
Yeah. No, that doesn't sound like they can do that either.
I always remember that when there was a police van going up and down the dockside when we were on ours. It was like we kept waving.
All right, so let's get back to more sensible things. You know, everybody in the world kept telling me that I was not going to like the MSC Seashore. I was not going to like MSC because it's European cruising, because they're going to make announcement in 17 languages, and because the food's not going to be like American food. I mean, I had all these reasons thrown at me that I was not going to like these couple cruises that I have booked this week, the 2 weeks on MSC, and boy, were they wrong. This is as nice a cruise I think as I've ever been on.
Wow.
The ship was pristine. The staff was unbelievable. I'm just phenomenal staff. The food was outstanding. Man, if somebody doesn't like that ship, and of course they were selling it 20% just to make things even better for us. But if somebody's going to complain about that, oh my goodness!
So
but I loved it, Martin. I really did. I enjoyed immensely. I am now booked on the inaugural for Seascape, which is December 11th. So I'm on Divina today for the next week. Then I go home for 2 weeks, or I think it's maybe 3 weeks. Then I come back to Port Canaveral and I'm doing the Meraviglia. So I will, have covered all 3 of the MSC ships that are sailing in U.S. waters. And then when the Seascape comes out in December, I'm going to be on the inaugural for that. I really like MSC. I really do.
Now, have you signed up for the Voyagers Club?
Yeah.
Yeah, because each time you'll get, like over in the UK at the moment, we've got deals where you get 20% off if you're a MSC Voyagers member. So it's well worthwhile joining the Voyagers Club. If you have been on and haven't joined, get joined. That's one thing to say to everybody. It's worthwhile, and then your benefits on board. And did you know about the status match?
Yeah, that I found out, and I've just never really gone after that stuff. I've just never paid attention to it, which is a mistake on my part. So yeah, I realized that I can now do that, and so I'm going to have to take advantage of it. But
you've got to.
I did find out something the last night that was it was excellent, which I've already announced it to my guys. I talked about it. One of the couples they were actually from Canada, from Toronto, and have a summer place in Clearwater, but they are big MSC folks, and they said, "Look, here's something you ought to use on your show. We've been listening to your shows." And I said, "Well, thank you. I appreciate that. But what you need to do is you need to go to the main dining room tonight, and instead of ordering off the menu, go over to the little left-hand side up at the top where it's you can order a surf and turf, or you can order lobster, or you can order just a big filet mignon or something instead of what's on the menu."
This
And
is
you
on
pay
MSC
extra for it.
ships? This is on MSC ships?
Yeah.
I did not
any of
know
them.
about this.
All right. So yeah, it's up in this little box up in the left-hand corner of the main dining room menu, which of course now is just a single printout sheet of paper because they don't want you everybody handling the back and forth. But anyway, surf and turf was $24.95.
Oh, so it's an add-on.
Yeah, it's an add-on.
Okay.
I said, okay, so what's so good about that? She says, it's not cooked in the main dining room. It's not cooked in the main kitchen. I said, so it's cooked by the steakhouse.
Mm.
And then they bring it to you. She says, it's just like if you spend $100 and go to the steakhouse. Only you're spending $24.95 for a filet mignon and a lobster tail, and it's a nice big lobster tail. And you get sauteed mushrooms, and you get asparagus, and you get a baked potato for $24.95. You can't go wrong. I did that just to try it. My goodness. I'd eaten in the steakhouse the 2 nights before, and it was good, but I wasn't sure it was, to me, it had the value of what it costs. Same thing with teppanyaki. I love teppanyaki. The food was outstanding. The entertainment, the show was terrific. I'm not entirely sold on specialty restaurants carrying a value. If you can afford it, fine. They're great meals. So from that standpoint, it could be worth it. But I'm looking at the value for the dollar spent. But this $24.95, when hell, that was just like spending $100.
You see, I like the specialty restaurants. We generally will do at least 1 or 2 nights in specialty, even though we paid for our food and it's all included in the price.
Yeah.
We just like that, something different. And the butcher's cut where you went into, we did that on Virtuosa, and do you know what? It was just so nice. I mean, did you have the marrowbone?
No, I did not. I wasn't entirely sure what that was, and I've been told since that I made a mistake in not having it.
Oh, it's gorgeous. I mean, I was very, they came, and I don't know whether I've got a picture of it somewhere. I'm sure I have. I'll post it in the thing, but it was the bone with the marrow still inside it. And I looked at it and I thought, when you go to eat something, you're like, I don't know if I'm going to like this. I don't know. And I was like, oh, that was really nice. Really nice. That was good. But yeah, we did the butcher's cut and it was amazing. But we didn't do teppanyaki. Tell me about teppanyaki. We did the outside bit, but we didn't do the teppanyaki, the show. Was that good?
Oh, yeah. The guy was wonderful. I mean, he does all the business with the flipping of the knives and all the crazy stuff. And as he's doing all this stuff with knives going up the aircraft, he says, "Yeah, this is my first night." But I mean, they cook everything right in front of you. It's a constant dialogue with the guy. It's terrific. The food was outstanding. The show was great. It was totally enjoyable. I felt so sad because here's this big teppanyaki restaurant, which, they got the cooking area, which has got about 12 seats around it or so. Then there's like 6 of those in this big restaurant. There were 3 of us there that night, 3 people.
Wow. Oh my goodness.
And the whole, everybody, and the one guy still working, for the 3 of us, and the place was empty.
Wow.
So, but that part was sad, but yeah. I did feel, again, the special that I got was the 2 packages for $100. So figure $50 a piece.
Boy, is that new math that you guys have out there on the East Coast?
Yeah, sort of. And so it wasn't, was it worth it? The food was good. The entertainment was good. Yeah. Probably for $100 for the 2 meals. Okay. Oddly enough, in the butcher's cut, Martin, the biggest problem I had, I had 2 problems. One, I had the 14-ounce sirloin. That was too damn much steak for me. I'm doing the butcher's cut on Divina this week again. I'm just going to order the filet. I like fillets. The 14-ounce steak is too much damn food.
Jeez.
But anyway, the other problem that I have, specifically toward MSC, if you want to do it that way, You go to the butcher's court and they try to upsell you 14 times after you've already been upselled from the basic cruise package. You know, they want you to buy the marrow or buy the 95-ounce steak. And I mean, you can spend up to $250 on that meal if you want to.
You could.
I get a little, I was a salesman all my life. Don't try to sell me crap. You know, I'll
Think about it this way. I don't know what the ratio is on the MSC ships, but on the Queen Mary, the one that's parked on the cement in Long Beach, California, every time it went 9 inches through the water, it took a gallon of fuel.
Wow. Jeez.
Every time it moved 9 inches out at sea, it took a gallon of fuel. So, you know, they got to pay for it somehow. They're not getting it paid for by selling rooms and whatever, you know, and those COVID tests don't come free. So
they just know when Chillie's on, we'll have to go slower because we can't afford the fuel. He's not paying for anything extra.
Well, I weigh the boat down a little bit, Martin. You know, I said, you know, ride's a little lower in the water. Me.
That's my joke about flying across the ocean, you know, that every 100 pounds that's on an airplane costs X amount of dollars per 100 miles or so much gas. And I did the math back in my old heavy days, and I figured out that it doesn't matter how much I pay for an airplane flight. They lose money on me every time.
Okay.
Pay first class 2 seats and they're still not making any money.
That's right. It doesn't matter because they're still losing money on John. So, you know, it's like me going to Vegas, you know, they lose money on me every time. It's like I'm stealing from them because I don't gamble. So I go into the big fancy hotels and I look at the, you know, there's a $500 million worth of artwork in the Bellagio and the fountains over at the Mirage and all these different features that they have to get you into their hotels so that you spend some money. But I don't spend any money. So I'm kind of stealing from them, really.
Yeah.
Jeez, I don't know.
The other thing interesting, Martin, I had an issue, and somebody that's watching this out there in our audience is going to say, well, what are you fussing about MSC if you like them so much? Well, sometimes you can have an issue and still like the cruise and like the company and like everything else you have. When I got there on last Saturday, I Ubered over from the hotel where they parked, had the Uber driver stop, and of course got out. They checked my big bag. But I said, I need wheelchair service. And they said, you can't get that. You have to go inside the terminal and get through security before you can get a wheelchair. I said, well, how am I supposed to get there? Well, you have to walk. I said,
how does that work if you can't walk?
Now, I had my walker. So I loaded up my carry-ons, my computer bag and my drug bag and my portable oxygen on my walker,
and his traveling car and his wardrobe and his dancing girls. It's a good thing he's got a big walker.
His entourage.
Big walker. So I had to walk about probably 70, 80 yards to the door. Way more than I can walk. I mean, by the time I got there, even though I had my oxygen, I was huffing and puffing. I got inside the door and I said, look, y'all, I got to have a wheelchair. And the guy says, oh, I have it right here. Just half a second. They went and got a wheelchair before I got to security. So that part was okay. There's construction around the terminal. There's nowhere else you can get any closer. So you got to walk that distance, but they won't let me have my scooter curbside. You have to get it in your cabin.
Yeah, I remember we said this, didn't we? Yeah.
You know, I've had that run into that problem several times before. So, but the guy got the wheelchair. They whipped me right through. I mean, I get to go around all the lines, and they take care of handicapped folks quickly. got through all the check-in, the security, and all that crap. Got up on the boat. The rooms aren't ready. They said, look, it's going to be a couple hours till the rooms are ready. I said, okay. He said, look, I'm going to park you here in this bar, and you can have a couple cocktails or whatever.
I'm sure you did have a few adult beverages.
It's okay. So I sat down in the bar there and had a couple cocktails, which, you know, I've been known to have an adult beverage, so I didn't mind that.
I thought it's very unusual that you haven't.
So when the staterooms are ready, no wheelchair guy. So I sat there about 15 minutes, no wheelchair guy. I flagged down one of the staff members. I said, look, I'm supposed to have wheelchair service to get to my cabin so I can get my scooter that's in the cabin. He says, oh, no, we can't do that. So, what do you mean you can't do that? And we're not allowed to take you to the room itself. You have to get there on your own. I said, what? He said, yeah. I said, how am I supposed to do that? You have to walk. I said, I can't walk. It about killed me getting in the building down there.
Mm-hmm.
I said, sorry, sir, but we're not allowed to take you to the room. I thought, okay. So again, I got blown up my walker. Thankfully, I had the walker. It wasn't that bad a walk. It was about maybe 20 yards or so to the elevator, which wasn't terrible. I had no idea where my room was. Once I got off the elevator, I mean, hell, it could have been, you know, a half mile away, as big as the boat is. It wasn't that bad to the room. It was maybe 30 yards. So I got in there, got the scooter, went on about my life. Tuesday, I guess it was, I think it was Tuesday, I went down to guest services and started talking to them. And they said, sorry that happened, but that's the policies. It's partly by the port and partly by MSC. And I said, well, we need to change the policies, folks, for handicapped folks need to be able to get in without you killing them.
Yeah.
Well, let me find somebody for you. Sure enough, they got the head honcho, okay, who, Martin, like you, he was a little follically challenged. He was bald as maple. But anyway, so I explained the whole situation to him. When I told him that one of the staff members says, sorry, you have to walk, I thought the man was going to have a heart attack. He got red. I mean, it was going, you could just see. No kidding. I thought he was going to get apoplectic and everything else. Who do you know the guy's name? No, I'm not trying to get anybody in trouble. I'm just trying to see that this, you know, if there's some way around this. You know, the easy route is let me get the scooter curbside and ride the damn scooter through everything you got to do to check in and ride right up on the boat. Port Miami won't let you do that. Oh, that's stupid. But anyway, so he's taking notes. He sends a message to the Divina. He says, this guy's going to be on your boat next week. You damn well better take care of him.
We'll be interested
what
to
happens
see
today.
later.
I mean, you know, I'm going in this exact same terminal. I know I'm going to have to walk from where the Uber can drop me off because there's no other way of doing it right now. But it was a problem and it was taken care of. So I can't complain, you know.
But it's a problem that could have been alleviated quite easily, couldn't it, by them doing things? I know over here, when you could check in at Southampton, for example, you have to get to the terminal or you make yourself known to one of the assistance people, and then they will get the assistance you need, and it's quite easy. They'll get you through and things like that. So they need to just maybe, you know, bit of nous and think, well, okay, why don't we have people outside that can get that assistance straight away. Okay, you might have to walk that bit from the Uber where it drops you off 70 yards or whatever, but from that point on, it's taken care of. It's a simple fix, isn't it?
Yeah.
So,
yeah. So, but yeah, that was the only problem. Then, I mean, there's always accessibility issues on ships with swimming pools, and I maintain that, and it's not MSC and Royal Caribbean that I've been on these last two. It's the same thing with all of them, where the hot tubs and the swimming pools are really not accessible for the most part. Once in a while, you'll have one with a ramp, but they use the lift chairs. I maintain that one of the things that I'm hoping to interview somebody that is much more severely disabled than I am, so I can ask them specifically on this. But I maintained if I had asked somebody to get one of the lifts to pick me up, I mean, they're out there in front of 8 million people, pick me up in a damn lift, swing me around, and drop me down in the swimming pool, I would be mortified at the scene I'm making.
I wonder if, I wonder if now we've got all these ships.
I don't like that concept.
I wonder if now we've got all these new ships still being built and still coming online, and you'd think by now that they'd start to put more accessible features in, or maybe an accessible part of the pool, and as we said last week, maybe a ramp. The ramp it needs to be secured, but it can be moved when it's not in use. It's simple things like that may, that your enjoyment of the cruise, that next level. It's like, oh my God, when I got there, they had this ramp, or the pool was accessible, or this was accessible,
Yeah.
And somebody needs to
clearly
take by the horn to do it.
The person that's in charge of accessibility issues for all Royal Caribbean is going to be on my show when I get back home.
Okay, cool.
He's already agreed to come on and let me interview him and discuss all these things right out in the open. So I'm really looking forward to that. And believe me, there are going to be things that I'm going to ask him about. Well, that's one of them.
You can't ask for a better person, can you? Because, come on, Royal Caribbean build the biggest ships in the world.
Yeah.
And they're bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, but they're not addressing that issue, are they? It's like, unless in, the next ship that comes along, maybe they've got something in the offing, and they're going to do something.
Especially for hot tubs.
The way John's just staring in, he's like real intent.
Well, it's everything you're saying is true. I can't make any joke about it. I was going to make a joke about the splash when Chillie hits the hot tub, but but this is a really important issue. So
no, it is an issue, and it's got to be addressed. I mean, the thing is, though, if you look back 20, 30 years, it's probably a lot worse than it is, and but now it's better, but it could be better again. So I must admit,
it's clearly better than when I started cruising. I mean, when I started cruising, I wasn't challenged like I am now. But
when you started cruising,
Chillie,
weren't they stoking the fires with coal and things like that?
It was a different century.
Big belches of smoke from the coal. Yeah, and then if you couldn't pay for dinner, you could go down and man the shovel for a while and earn your keep.
I quite like that.
Have you ever shoveled coal in the bow of a ship? Neither.
Almost.
That's neither here nor there.
Listen.
I can't even lie about that one.
Listen, do you know what? If it got me on a cruise, I'd do anything to get on a cruise. I'll wash the dishes. I'll stoke the coals. You name it. If they say that's what you've got to do, I'm there. You know me, I go the opening of an envelope, me.
How about senior diaper patrol?
Ooh.
He said anything, Chillie. Did you hear the words? I'll do anything.
John, if it meant I was on the cruise, then yeah.
That's what I guess.
Come on, we all love cruising, and if we could get a free cruise by doing something, we'd all do it, wouldn't we? We'd all do it.
Yeah.
So Chillie, question for you then.
All right.
Whole week on MSC. Just one highlight. Give us your biggest highlight.
Probably that surf and turf last night. That was just so good. I mean, a big fat guy like me, you love food to start with. But that's as nice a meal as I've ever eaten anywhere. So I paid $25 for it. Who cares?
Did they serve the tail on top of the steak? Was it on the top of it when it came out?
It was just to the side.
I know when he brought mine out, the actual tail was on top of the steak. It was like,
Oh, wow.
it was like this, that big. It was like, oh, as he was walking along with it, I was like, oh, I'm going to enjoy this.
I know one thing. I had to fight with it to get all the tail out of the shell. I mean, that sucker didn't want to give that last little bit up. And I said, dude, you're mine.
I love lobster, but it's the most messiest food ever, isn't it? As you're trying to get your fork in and get all the little bits out, and you're like, it's all down your face.
The other couple of things that I really enjoyed about both cruises, the private islands are much better than I counted. I was not real excited about going to Coco Cay or to Ocean Key, particularly. Although I knew I had to. Enjoyed them immensely. My situation with the scooter, you just roll everywhere. I mean, if you want to do things that are off the hard paths, they have the beach wheelchairs available everywhere.
Mm.
If you want to get out in the sand where obviously a scooter or a wheelchair is going to mire up. They had, of course, cocktails were available. So I had a couple of adult beverages, went to the cookout, the food was good there, just like it was on the ship. Of course, the same people are fixing the food on the private islands, but I just enjoyed them. The lovely days. So I got to be out in some sun a little bit and explore around. It was nice. It was terrific.
I'm going to go on one of the beach buggies. They look amazing. They really do look amazing.
Yeah. So I was very impressed with that. When I go back to Ocean Cay this week, I'm going to try to take one of the excursions so I get a little more of the educational aspects of what MSC has done in reclaiming, because that used to, it was like an industrial dump that they have completely reclaimed. They've got coral growing. They've got tremendous marine wildlife around that place now. So it's pretty cool. It really is.
You can go when you're on the ship. You can go and learn all about that, can't you? They have like a little booth, if you like, or a little part of the ship, and you can go in and learn about the MSC Marine Foundation, is it, where they go on about saving the oceans and things like that. So it's really worthwhile spending some time just learning about. A lot of people complain about ships and about what they're doing to the environment, but what MSC are doing with their foundation, it's amazing to learn. So if you're ever on an MSC ship, go and listen to what they've got to say and look in. It is worthwhile. Very educational. Now let's get back to the good stuff. Favorite cocktail.
The other thing. Now I'll tell you what. I've had a couple drinks this time that were new to me. I had one day was a Brandy Alexander Day.
That'd be a good day.
That was the National Brandy Alexander Day. So I said, well, hell, I got to go have a Brandy Alexander. So I went up to my little favorite bar there and I ordered a Brandy Alexander. Oh my God, was it good? So I had probably, I don't know, 10 or 12 of those the rest of the week. And then my bartender there, the last night, He says, okay. He says, you like these Brandy Alexander so much, you got to have a chocolate martini. I said, I'm not too, excited about that. So he made me a chocolate martini. It wasn't bad. I wouldn't order another one, probably. Brandy Alexander's, I'll definitely order again.
To me, that's a bad thing. That's a downer for chocolate and a downer for the world of martinis. I mean,
no, martini, no. I'll tell you what I did, which was really good on Celebrity on their ships. They have something called a martini flight, and you get like 5 or 6 little martini glasses, and you get like an apple martini. You get a vodka martini, and it's like by the end of it, you're like, I've got to get back to my cabin, but no, they're really good. So I mean, I do like vodka martini and shaken not stirred. I think I'm Daniel Craig or someone like that.
Shaken not stirred.
You look a lot like Daniel Craig.
He, especially that shot where he's naked in the bathtub. You're just a dead ringer for that. So.
Oh, geez. There is a picture on my Facebook profile of me doing a Daniel Craig moment coming out the sea. When he comes out the sea and he gives it all that. Well, I did one in Gran Canaria once. It doesn't look anything like it, but it's my moment. I loved every minute of it.
And that was way back in 1998,
I did have her then. I was just thinking, actually, looking this way, we've got it this week. I think we're going to have to go back to the old way, it's too close. Have you seen how grey my beard is?
Oh, I'm so sorry. You're getting grey.
I'm getting old. Old.
Kiss my butt.
So, right,
the other thing that was pretty cool is that MSC has my brand of bourbon.
And what's your brand of bourbon?
Elijah Craig. Elijah Craig bourbon, as and it's you can't find it anywhere, but they had it on the seashore.
Wow. The one thing that makes me laugh on ships, and it always has done, is Knob Creek.
Knob Creek bourbon is another fine bourbon. If I can't get my Elijah Craig, then my fallback from that is either Maker's Mark or Knob Creek.
See, I'm not a bourbon drinker. I'm not.
And do you know how Elijah Craig got its name?
No. John, look the other way.
Chillie, you don't know?
Look the other way. John, look.
Oh, I'm looking at Chillie over here. See?
Oh,
Chillie, you don't know how Elijah Craig was a minister.
Right. Didn't know that.
They probably made it in the backyard.
in the kettle at the back. Bit of moonshine.
Elijah Craig was a Baptist preacher in Virginia who became an educator and a capitalist entrepreneur in the area of Virginia, and then later became the area of Virginia that became Kentucky. Remember, Virginia was bigger.
Yep.
And then they made it smaller when they were breaking out the states. He has dubiously been created with the actual invention of bourbon whiskey. The idea of taking just basically vodka, alcohol that had been distilled, and aging it in the oak barrels to make it into what is known as Kentucky bourbon, Kentucky bourbon is different than Tennessee whiskey. I don't know if you know that.
Oh, yeah. And a true bourbon drinker, don't give them anything from Tennessee.
Well,
they'll smack you.
Smack you.
No, and you don't mean smack in a good way. So,
no.
So, yeah.
And they're a good Kentucky bourbon. My son is one of them. Don't give him any Jack Daniels.
Okay.
He's highly insulted because that is not Kentucky bourbon.
No, it's Tennessee whiskey. It has it has its own legal definition. We used to take people to the Jack Daniels, not brewery, but distillery all the time.
Yeah.
And it's really, they were very careful to explain that to us, as they are not, bourbon or whiskey. They are Tennessee whiskey, and that's its own thing.
Right.
Yeah.
My son was
Always
still
on the
fussing.
bus, somebody would ask one of the tour guides, how many people work there here? And the answer always was about half of them.
Yeah. Now my son will still fuss at me because I will drink Jack Daniels. I'm not as snobby a bourbon drinker as most are, but I enjoy Jack Daniels. If I can get my brand of bourbon, I'll drink Jack just as well. So.
Well, MSC have had some announcements this week, though, haven't they? I don't know if you've seen what they've announced this week.
Well, like they've got a couple boats coming out this year.
Boats? Chillie, you can't call them boats.
Europa. I know.
Which side are you on? Hang on a minute.
I call
across, John. I'm just
What
going
do
to
you call them then? Water conveyances? Is that going to be? Oh, WC. I see that all over Europe. I didn't know that's what it meant. Water conveyance.
Jeez, no. Well, yeah, they've got new ships, but they've just announced some great stuff. I mean, you've got MSC World Europa from Dubai from December, which is a good one. But they've just announced MSC Bellissima and extended the Emirates season. So she's over there from, I think, April, May, June. So just extended that. And then, which I think is brilliant news for us here in the UK or anybody in Europe, or anybody wants to come and visit us.
She's coming back to Southampton.
Yeah, well, Virtuosa's coming back. We know that. She's back from end of April till the end of September, but then got extended till November. But when she disappears from the beautiful terminal they've got at Southampton, devoted to MSC and NCL as well, we have got the MSC Preziosa is going to be sailing from Southampton through the winter. So it's going to be a ship in Southampton year round. And it's like, that's a big investment. That's a lot of beds to fill.
Yeah.
You know, so MSC are devoted to the UK, same as in the US. You know, they've got a lot of ships over US and over in South America and things like that. But it's great news for the UK. So, but yeah, it's some big news. And then there's their new ship. Has anybody seen the newest ship? The Explorer. And that looks amazing when that comes out. I think that's 23, I think it is. That's going to be an amazing ship. So, yeah, MSC.
And the Seascape later on this year.
The Seascape later this year, yeah. There's
December.
Is it going to be up
What's
to
the typical run out of Southampton then? Do they do the Baltic? Do they do the northern Scandinavians? What do they usually do?
Well, Virtuosa is going to be doing she's got some fjords, Norwegian fjords, some Mediterranean, some Canaries, and then when she and some shorter break cruises to a little place off the UK called Guernsey, and out over to Rotterdam and places like that, Hamburg. But then when Preziosa comes back, I'm waiting on the full details. But I think it's going to be doing literally just the northern cities through winter. So Amsterdam, Hamburg, places like that, like the Magnifica's been doing this year. So it seems to have been popular. And I mean, we think some of the prices on MSC as well. A week for 500 quid, all inclusive, 600 quid.
Yeah,
it's a bargain, absolute bargain. Especially that premium drinks package, you can get your bourbons on there. Not Tennessee whiskey, because you get a hit.
Well, they have Tennessee whiskey too. If you're so inclined,
they have both.
They're an equal opportunity alcohol purveyor, so they'll give you Tennessee whiskey if you want it.
But if Chillie sees you, he'll just come along and smack you because you're drinking the wrong one.
What Chillie don't realize is that down in the base, they only got about 200 bottles on the whole ship, and down in the basement, they're just filling them up and adding some color to them. It's all the cheapest vodka rum or vodka that they can buy on one of them islands.
Rude. That's you, Bard, from MSC. That's you, Bard.
No. That wasn't about MSC. That was the joke about every ship. Is that they
look at John backpedaling so I don't get.
No, I'm not backpedaling. I'm saying that was always the story. That have you ever seen on a ship? Have you ever seen them actually open a new bottle of booze?
Have you ever had them run out of a booze on a ship? I haven't on a ship.
I've heard of it though. People have complained, mostly beer.
There was
like Guinness. A lot of the ships around England ran out of Guinness as they started cruising again after the virus thingy.
Well, there was one sailing I was on that ran out of most booze, I mean, admittedly, it was a travel agent shakedown cruise, and us travel agents can drink very well.
You'd have thought they'd have known.
Got none of that. So by the end of it, it was like the bar's shut. It was like, we've got nothing left. You've drank us dry.
Well, the only time it ever happened to me wasn't on a ship. But I took my son and daughter-in-law to Cancun. She's afraid of getting on the water, so she didn't want to do a cruise. So we went to Cancun for a week. Jason and I, of course, big bourbon drinkers. And in Cancun in Mexico, bourbon's not a big popular drink there. So about the third day, I think the resort had like 15 bars. Jason and I had drunk them out of every drop of bourbon in the whole resort. The next morning, they sent the
next morning. They all of a sudden they had it again. The next morning,
the house ambulance to the liquor distillery or to wherever they get the stuff of however it's done in Mexico. They filled up the ambulance with cases of bourbon and brought it back to stock the bar. So Jason and I could have bourbon the rest of the week. I got pictures someplace of the ambulance full of cases of bourbon.
God, I don't know.
True story.
Jeez.
I'm still asking the question. Have you ever seen him reach to the back bar and open a bottle fresh?
Yeah, no.
It's because they take they do it before you get there and unpick it, so they never have to open it. It never looks there, and little bits of paper flying off. You see.
Sure.
Have you ever seen them loading the ship? Have you ever seen them loading the ship when they restock when they go into port? Yeah. Oh, I didn't know until it was twice we saw it. The dog's going across the stuff for checking for drugs as it's going on.
Oh, everything that goes on or off the ship is carefully sniffed and checked and everything. And like for the 5 big Royal Caribbean ships, the grocery bill, not the booze bill, the grocery bill for a week out of Miami is generally $1 million.
Wow.
Now that's of course when they're running close to capacity and everything. It's not when it's only Chillie and another couple of lobster eaters, but they can catch that off the back of the boat. But
step down Costco for that. yeah.
Hey, but seriously, when they're running out of like Miami or one of those ports where every week they've got beach, especially beachgoers tend to eat more. This is a known statistic. Wow. Us transatlantic people, we don't. I think it's because we're not out in the sun and playing tennis or whatever. But it's the beach crowd are big eaters, or maybe they waste more. I don't know what the answer is. But can you imagine that, when ships pull into port there, they're loading $1 million worth of food on that ship. And then, of course, I'm putting him down here. Then, of course, they don't throw anything overboard, no matter the jokes or what you hear anymore. So every piece of packaging that pineapple came in, or all those different kinds of things, if they can't grind it up to make it fish food, that means it has to be completely edible. That all gets compressed and put back into the freezer compartments. So that has to come off before the new $1 million worth of food goes on. So yeah, I'd love to be in that business. I'm sorry that I'm not young and can do it all over again. I think being in the logistics business for a cruise ship company would be one of the fun things to do. Because think about how many things you guys eat in a week when you're on a ship. You're not just having porridge and some Guernsey milk. I mean,
yeah.
You're talking lobster and bone marrow and then all the spices that are needed, and that they all got to be sourced somewhere, and then at a price. Because believe me, this is not new to anybody. Believe me, the ships ain't paying top dollar for their lobsters and their filet mignon. I mean, they're finding out a place to get that at the best possible price they can. Yeah. That's how they can do 500 pounds or dollars a week cruises. Let's be serious about this. But that's all a big giant operation that has to go on to make it work. And I would love to have been in that business for a few years.
Well, saying that, John, just saying that, as you say, the sourcing it, they source the best, but they must be getting a good price for it, because let's be honest, it's very rare you get on a cruise ship and you have a bad meal, is it?
Yeah.
The steaks are
That's
always
right.
good. The
That's right.
lobster's good. You know,
It
you
might be
name
something that I don't like. I ultimately don't care for it for my personal palate, but it's not a bad meal. That's right.
it.
Except that Elijah Craig bourbon. I mean, that to me tastes like swamp water that's been sitting I think they put it on the boilers down in the control room, but that's,
Well, it's mad, isn't it? Because I mean, this food you get on board is like a top class restaurant.
absolutely.
I have never had what would be just a bad meal.
That's right. That's right.
Never.
And that's why if you're a foodie, you can't go to Europe and travel around and pick up the food that you can pick up in one of these big cruise ships in a week.
Mm.
I'm sorry if you're willing to spend the money. We've heard that Chillie's a little bit narrow on his over budget, and that's all right because we were figuring it out the other day. If you didn't do 10 upscale restaurants now, that's a whole nother cruise.
Yeah.
So for the people that are trying to maximize cruises, boy, I totally get it. I mean, I don't. On Norwegian, I always get a free Cagney Steakhouse and a free. Well, I can choose between the Brazilian steakhouse or the Italian La Cucina. Because which is it? That's a woman that makes her money. One's a kitchen and one's a woman that makes her money on the street. And I can never. Is it La Cucina? La Cucina? I don't speak of the Italian, so I don't know. But other than that, I just always eat out of the regular things. I mean, I'm not going to go to Cagney's and spend. I did that once 2.5 years ago. I treated 3 people. I was trying to show off or something. And I treated 3 people. Well, I treated 3 people to Cagney's on the Norwegian Star, and it was $250.
Yeah.
A half a cruise now. That's a half a cruise.
Mad,
So.
But then, if you're a foodie or a whiny, that sounds awful. Or you're into your wine. What do you call somebody? It's not a whiny.
Enophile. They're enophiles. You're in the business, for God's sakes. You don't call them wine. They're whining is when they're calling you every day, going, "What if my COVID test doesn't come back? Okay, what am I going to do then?" That's the whining part.
Well, if you're into your food and you're into your wine, definitely ocean cruising. And I know we mentioned it a couple of weeks ago, but river cruising is even better
cruising too. Yeah.
They literally take the food on daily. It's that fresh. They take it on daily, and you see them loading the food up, and then that evening it's on your plate. It's like absolutely amazing. And
so not even regional. It's really like it's literally farm to boat.
Yeah.
Can I call them a boat?
Yeah, I suppose. No, it's not.
I call everything on the
What's
water
a
a
boat
boat.
then? What's the definition of a BOAT boat?
Well, it's a hard one to say, isn't it? I think a boat is anything that is less than probably 8-10 people. Anything above that, it's a ship. A river ship. It's a river ship and an ocean ship. That's my view. But if you speak to any captain, of a river or a ocean cruise, and you call it a boat, you will get down the daggers. It's not a boat; it's a ship.
Oh yeah, my cruising booking lady down in Florida. Every time I use the word, she stops everything she's doing to correct me, and it's like, Maureen, haven't you figured out that if I haven't got it from you by now, I'm probably not going to get it? I'm sorry, the Epic's always going to be a big boat to me. And actually, there was a cruise line, and that's what they featured. Was it the Big Red Boat? That was their selling line.
Well, you had the Love Boat.
Yeah, that was
The
Princess.
Love Boat. Are they only for 8 to 10 people?
No, I'm shit. No, a ship. If it takes a number of people, a number of passengers, and has accommodation, I'd say it's a ship. If it hasn't
Big
got
Red Boat
accommodation,
2 was formerly the Eugenio Costa, put up for sale, laid up in Freeport, the Bahamas, back in 2005. But so before that, there was the Big Red Boat that you could, and it was Disney. Disney partnered with Premier Cruise Lines and its Big Red Boat, so called because of the bright red color in the hull, that operated out of Cape Canaveral, Florida, to provide Disney costume characters for the short cruises to the Bahamas in connection with a multi-day stay at Walt Disney Resorts in Florida.
which then obviously became Disney Cruise Lines then.
And they said, why are we farming this out to somebody else? We can do this and do it better. And you got to hand it to Disney. I mean, people can complain about Disney, but I should have this for next Sunday. I've got a tour of the Walt Disney Suite on one of the Disney cruises. And it's a pretty amazing. The guy who was giving the tour is not really a boat and cruising and ship kind of guy, but the video of the room is just unbelievable. So
it's one cruise line that I want to go on, but I've always been put off. And do you know why? I've always thought people will look at me and go, he's a 46, well, no, 47. I'm now 48 this year.
I thought he was 43. Chillie, he's been telling us he's 43.
He's been lying like a snake.
I think when we first started talking, we probably were all that younger. You know what I mean? It's been going on for that long, hasn't it? We've not been on cruises. We are now getting on cruises. John's been on a cruise. Chillie's been on now going on his third cruise. And in 28 days, I'm getting on my first cruise of 2022. I can't wait.
I don't know if I talked about it last week, Martin, but I'm doing a ground tour in April and May. Matter of fact, I'm leading a ground tour. If anybody wants to see Germany my way, I'm leading a ground tour that will start in Copenhagen and or Berlin, depending on where you want to jump on. But we're going to do a big giant C. We're going to do Berlin, Nuremberg, Munich, Ulm, and then Saarland, which includes Frankfurt all the way to France, including a one-day train ride into Paris.
You know what? I think we're going to have to coordinate that, John. I'm going to have to come and meet you somewhere in Europe. It's only a couple of hours to Germany.
I'm doing a week in Berlin after the tour, and I'm doing a week down in Niederwürzbach, which is a little village between Frankfurt and the French border after. So I got a week on either end. So
you see, Berlin.
That's a good topic for next week, John. We're out of time.
Wow.
And I have to check. By the way, folks, those of you that are watching in the chat room and all that business, sorry we had to tape this early. It was because of my schedule. So we taped it, and it's going to be played back at the normal broadcast time. So we're not actually live today. We taped it. But
we do have to show the picture. You did a couple hours getting your pictures done with the New York Times, right? And I did get a copy of it.
Oh,
well, sort of.
I did get a copy of it because we were worried about his tan lines. So you see this.
Yes, for those of you that don't know, I spent 2 hours yesterday with a photographer from the New York Times for this project that they're doing on me in March. We do have a date now. It's going to be March 21st. There will be a podcast about me and cruising in the cruise industry. But anyway, so I spent a photo shoot after I got off the boat yesterday.
It's a ship. It's not a boat. It's a ship.
And I'm going to go get on another boat today.
Ship.
The MSC Divina. I don't know. Watch out for me tonight. I probably will do a live stream from someplace on board the Divina later on today.
Well, I'm going to say something, guys. So for everyone listening in, I need your help. Now, this is a call to arms. Would you all please go and give my page a like? Because once I hit 4,000 likes and followers on my page, I'm giving a cruise away. And I've been trying to give this away for 2 years now. So please go to Martin's Holiday Village. Give me a like. Just give me a thumbs up. Follow me. I need to give this cruise away. It's been going for long enough. So please give us a like, guys.
Now, could it be a cruise on a boat, or does it have to be on a ship?
It will be on a ship.
Oh, okay.
That's a ship, S-H-I-P.
Say ship and shine and ship really fast 3 times.
I will think about you this week as I am cruising through the
He's lying. He won't. He won't be bothered about us sat there at home. Oh, yeah. He'll be there, adult beverages. He'll be wheeling himself round.
No doubt about it. So,
well, do you know what, Chillie? Good on you, fella. Go for it. Enjoy it. You've got 3 weeks between the next one, so you've got time to get home, unpack, wash, and pack again, ready to go.
Absolutely. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up. You guys stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you next Sunday for the Cruise Amigos live from Who knows where? Later, y'all.